Hey everyone, Lauren from A Girl and Her Wool here. Welcome back to my channel. My channel is all about behind the scenes of me running my hand-dyed yarn business and any other kind of crafty content that I come up with. Today I'm going to be reflecting all about 2021, kind of from my business perspective, and then on Tuesday I will be posting a 2022 goals video. So I'm excited to already be so far into planning for 2022, and I'm planning to give some sneak peeks both here, well not here, but in that vlog, definitely. And then yeah, just kind of tease what's to come in 2022 without giving away everything. So one really quick announcement is that the Colors of the Month Club signups are gonna open on the 2nd, which is Sunday. So if you want to join the club, spots are very limited for this month. I've actually already finished dyeing the February shop update. We haven't even had the January shop update yet, and I've already finished dyeing yarn for February. I know, crazy. But I had unexpected change of plans this holiday. I was actually unable to go see my family during the holidays. So that's a bummer, but on the plus side, I took advantage of having the extra time to dye up all the February yarn because this month is going to be quite busy for me, so I got ahead. But that means that the Colors of the Month minis are already dyed up and spots are very limited. So if you want it, make sure you're signed up. If you have an active subscription, you're already in the club as long as you keep it active. But if you haven't signed up yet, January 2nd is a great day to do it. And again, I will close them once they're kind of sold out, and then if somebody cancels their subscription before the end of the month, I will reopen them. So just kind of keep an eye out on Instagram, my stories, that kind of thing, for information on that. But because it's coming up this weekend, I just wanted, and it's a new club, I just wanted to point that out to you guys. So let's head into the 2021 reflection. So yeah, so let's talk all about 2021. I'm gonna kind of run through a really quick list of the highlights of the year, and then I'll talk about a few of them in detail. I want to keep this vlog short. I feel like me yammering on and on won't be that interesting. But yeah, I wanted to just kind of recap in kind of bullets the year, and then spend some time kind of reflecting on it for a few minutes after that. So some of the big items that I feel like cover what 2021 was for me and my business was launching my shop at agirlandherwool.com. I did that in late 2020, but I'm counting that as a 2021 thing since this was the first year of really having it there. I launched my craft journal sticker kits, which was a really exciting new product line for my shop. I offered the Dye With Me club, as well as kind of had other clubs in general that I'll talk a little bit about, but that was definitely a key part to 2021. I also later in the year converted my shop more into a hybrid model between dye to order and ready to ship, and so that was something I was working on for a while and kind of have gotten into the groove of throughout the end of the year. I vended at my first festival and my second festival in September of this year, which was a big goal of mine and really exciting that I accomplished that. And then the last thing is that I offered up advent calendars as well as Hanukkah kits late in this year. So I know that's not new for 2021, but it still was a big part of what I accomplished this year. So those are kind of like the big, I guess, accomplishments for 2021, just kind of new things that were happening in the shop or kind of what made up my year. It was a good busy year. I'm proud of the year that it was. I definitely had things go better than others. I definitely had high points and low points. But overall, it was a good year. The things that I really made important to me and the things that I kind of let pass me by. So let's talk more about a couple of these in detail. I won't go on about all of them, but if there's any questions, you can leave a comment below with it or reach out to me. And I can always do a Q&A vlog or just kind of talk about any of these topics more in depth, because I definitely would have plenty more to say about them, and I'm just not gonna clog up all the time today doing that. Okay, so I think the first one I really should touch on is my kind of launching my shop at agirlandherwool.com. So when I opened up my shop in 2019, I was solely on Etsy. I had agirlandherwool.com. I own the domain for it, and it had like information about me, but I didn't have a shop there. So I feel like it's pretty common for people to start out, especially, you know, in the craft handmade world, to start out on Etsy, kind of use Etsy's customer base and then branch out on your own when you feel like you have like that customer base. So I did not do it for that reason. I did not feel like I had the following that I would have needed to normally move over to my own website. In fact, even afterwards, I felt like I did it too early, that I'll touch on in a little bit. But the reason why I launched my shop at agirlandherwool.com when I did was I wanted it up and ready before launching the 2021 clubs. So I wanted people to sign up through my website because Etsy does not have subscription products. It's all, you kind of buy a product, the seller makes it or ships it, gets it to the buyer, and the transaction's complete. There's no ongoing auto renew type of products, and I wanted to do that for my club for ease on your end, but then also on my end. I had a lot of tracking that I was doing on the back end for clubs before moving them to my own website. That was just, as the clubs were growing, was becoming more and more cumbersome. And so I'm always thinking about, you know, what is holding me up in my business that's not benefiting me, and how can I make that easier? So opening up the shop, and I'm pretty sure that when I launched my website, it was only clubs. So when I announced that, like, you could shop at agirlandherwool.com, it was, right now it's yarn clubs only, but you know, things will kind of trickle over, and that's how I did it. I didn't expect people to start shopping at my website. Again, I would announce shop updates at that time and not get any sales. So you know, it would kind of take time for my listings to show up on, you know, move up in Etsy's rankings. And so I didn't really expect people to move over to my website as quickly as they really did. So yeah, so people did kind of start shopping at agirlandherwool.com. Every time it happens, I'm so excited. It just is a reassuring feeling to like myself, like, oh, you know, people are following me, which is really a great feeling. So that was really great. And yarn clubs, I'll talk about more in a little bit, but it really helped. Like, I really enjoyed having my clubs at my website. It was really great to have the auto renew. I don't have to track anything on my own. Every month on the 20th, or whatever the renewal date is for any of my clubs, but I'm thinking of the Mystery Yarn Club in particular, my website, I don't do anything. My website automatically generates the renewal order. So on that day, I kind of just print out all the orders that came in. I'm not managing or going through the subscriptions in any sense. I just look at the orders as they kind of come in, and that's really easy for me on my part. So that was kind of the pro. That's why I did it, and that part of it went really well. On the other hand, my Etsy shop tanked very quickly. I would say by February or March, my sales were a very small percentage of where they had been before I made the switch. The way, I'm not going to get into like the way Etsy works, but the high level of it is the more you sell, the more Etsy is going to move you up in their listings, because Etsy is a business. They want to promote the shops that make sales so that they make more money. So because people did follow me to my website, I was getting less sales on Etsy, which meant that my listings wouldn't be showing up anymore, which means new customers wouldn't be finding me. And so I kind of dropped in the searches. So there's also the aspect of returning sales. So like people buy from you and then they come back and buy again. I would start to get like messages on my dashboard on Etsy, like, oh, here are great articles you can read to improve, to have customers want to come back, type of thing. So I felt like that was hurting me. So kind of long story short, my Etsy shop really tanked, and in that, when that was happening, I was really regretting having moved to my website. I was like, I did this too early. I should have just put up with yarn clubs. you know, I did it too early because now I'm not getting people in my shop, and I really was relying on Etsy to be bringing me a lot of people. So at that point I was really kind of regretting having started my Etsy shop when I did, because I was really relying on Etsy to bring me customers. I was a new brand, my name wasn't really out there. Again, I didn't have a large following on my own, and it really brought my revenue down early in the year. Yes, I did have people shopping on my website, but again, I wasn't kind of attracting, you know, the new people or people who were just going on Etsy to find yarn. There are a lot of pros and cons to being on Etsy versus your own website. Again, I'm not going to go into it here, but there are definitely people who are like, ooh, I want hand-dyed yarn, let me look on Etsy, right? So I was kind of missing out on those people. But I kind of just told myself that it was all worth it for yarn clubs. You know, I couldn't really change the past, I couldn't take it away at that point, so it was really just about kind of moving forward. And so for a lot of 2021, Etsy sales were essentially almost non-existent. Advents did pretty well on Etsy for me. I think, again, a lot of people would go on Etsy to look for them. I didn't look up this number, but I'm pretty sure it was 50-50 of sales of Advents and Hanukkah kits on my website versus on Etsy, meaning like people who followed me bought them, but then people who were just probably looking on Etsy, or maybe some people just prefer to shop on Etsy, right? But for the most part, it was pretty 50-50, which is not how my sales are otherwise. It's predominantly my website and very little on Etsy. For the most part, Etsy dropped a lot, which is not a great thing, and one kind of con to me having started my website in 2021, but it's not a bad thing, and I will continue to have both shops and sell as I am. But that was a big part of this year. It was, you know, marketing now is very much reliant on me versus, you know, kind of relying on Etsy and their customer base. So that was a big change this year that I wanted to reflect on. Again, there's good and bad with it. Good is that, you know, I'm kind of selling my brand versus Etsy's brand, but the bad is, you know, you have to do more. Etsy is so great with their customer base that it's easier to get new customers than it is on your own website. So the other thing that I would just touch on really quickly with the craft journal sticker kits, this was an exciting thing for me to launch this year. It's completely different. It's not yarn based, it's not fiber based, but it was something I really wanted. I had been plotting and planning this for a while before I launched it. I was a little disappointed that I didn't launch it before the year, but at the end of 2020, I had collaborated with Amba O'Brien on the Radvent throw and the Radvent cowls, and those, in addition to my regular Advents, those kept me very busy at the end of 2020, in addition to building my website and kind of preparing for the new year, that I really didn't get them out and ready before January, which was disappointing, but again, it was okay. So early in 2021, I ended up launching the craft journal sticker kits. If you haven't checked them out, definitely do it. They're a really fun way to track projects or craft goals or your stash or anything else crafty related. I do now for 2022 have a craft journal sticker kit club. So again, if you don't want to have to remember to sign up every single month, you could, or purchase your stickers every single month, you could just sign up for that club. But they've been really fun. I love flipping through my book. I love flipping through my mom's book. It's just really fun, and you can kind of keep track of things. And I'm coming up with some fun ideas for 2022 that have been exclusive to the club. So you'll kind of see those coming up in the next little bit, kind of sneak peeks and reveals and things like that. But so yeah, that's been a really fun adventure for me to do. Again, I'm not going to go on and on about them, but it's just fun to have like a non-yarny product line too. It just kind of keeps things interesting. I get to do something else and change up my focus, which has been really fun. For yarn clubs, so again, yarn clubs is definitely a huge part of my business in terms of the amount of time I spend on things as well as on revenue. I am really grateful for everyone in the club. So in 2021, I've had my mystery yarn club that I actually started in 2020. That's been going really well. I really didn't look up numbers to share, but I want to say that it doubled between January and December, and probably potentially even more than doubled. Again, I at least doubled, which has been really great in terms of like active subscriptions. There are definitely, you know, there are cancellations throughout the year, but it tends to kind of grow over each month, which is really great. I'm glad you guys are all enjoying it. I love doing the clubs and have absolutely no plans to end it. I also did the limited edition clubs with the 3 related skeins, which was also a lot of fun. So I ended up doing that twice in 2021, like a rainbowy themed club and then an ice cream themed club. So those were really fun as well to do. It was a fun challenge to create skeins that could work well on their own, but if you use them in one project, that they could also work well like that. And then I also did the Dye With Me club. So I wanted to spend a couple of minutes here because the Dye With Me club was a really big part of my business early in the year. So the Dye With Me vlogs here on YouTube were really popular. I'm sure a lot of you found me through them. I'm sure there are a lot of subscribers out there who don't watch me as much anymore because I don't have them. And they were really fun to make and do. I love talking about yarn and dyeing, as you can tell by me having this channel. But I think I got burned out on them. I just felt like I was getting repetitive. I felt like I wasn't enjoying it, and that was coming through in the vlogs. And it was a lot of work, to be honest, without a lot of return. So I originally set up the Dye With Me club because I wanted to get the skeins that I was selling out of my shop. And so I priced them really low. And the Dye With Me club grew very quickly, and I could have capped it, right? Like I could have minimized it, but I wanted people like who were enjoying the vlogs to get a piece of it, and I really wanted, you know, it to be something fun for us to all talk about. Whereas if the same people were getting the yarn every month, some people would like grow tired of it. Once I stopped enjoying it and stopped having fun with it, that's kind of when I was like, okay, we're gonna take a break. And my intention was never to like end it completely. It was just I needed to like take a step back and reassess and think about how I want to do it. Over the last few months, I've definitely had different ideas of what I want to do with Dye With Me's, and I'm just kind of waiting to see what ideas stick. So yeah, so we'll see what 2022 brings. Again, you can check out the goals video. So I did post a Dye With Me recently. I plan to like kind of here and there do them, maybe monthly, do something like that, not necessarily paired with a club or anything. So kind of the last thing that I really wanted to touch on in detail was converting to ready to ship. So if you've been watching me for a long time, you know that I've been trying to figure out a way to have ready to ship skeins, but still hold to my any size skein, you know, kind of any quantity. Don't play yarn chicken, don't overbuy your yarn type of mantra that I've always had in my shop. And I can't have every size skein available in every color to send out. Like that just wouldn't make sense. And so I've always kind of struggled with how I wanted to implement it. And I think what I've started doing in recent months and how I'm running my shop now has been a really great balance for everything. So what I do now is I have one large monthly shop update, usually the first Saturday of the month. This month, January, it will be a week later because of the holiday, but usually it's the first Saturday of the month, and I, in that update, launch ready to ship skeins, as well as open up custom orders for a small library of colors. So about 5 colors per month. You can order in any size skeins and any quantity across all my bases, whereas the ready to ship is usually limited to 100 gram skeins to sock sets, and then sometimes I do 50 gram skeins and sometimes I do 150 gram skeins. And I will totally open it up to more bases and size skeins based on feedback. So if you're not seeing something that you think would be great to have ready to ship, let me know. Otherwise, it's all available as a custom order. And I think this has been going really well. It's just been a really great way for me to plan ahead of what my week's gonna look like, because when I was solely dye to order, I could get a whole bunch of orders in one day, or I could get like no orders for a week. And now if it works that way, it doesn't matter, because when I have custom orders, it does. But when it's the ready to ship, I kind of just get them out. And so I can really plan my dyeing ahead. I've always really wanted to have orders go out quickly. I didn't always want to have long turnaround time. So even when I was dyed to order, I always tried to get things out within that week. So 3 to 5 business days. I didn't want my turnaround time to be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Like, I just didn't want that to ever happen. And so I would end up like dyeing the same things every day, because you know, someone would order smoked paprika, I dye it for them, and then the next day someone would order smoked paprika, and I couldn't let like the order stack because I wanted to get them out quickly. Now, as part of the happy medium, I do have skeins ready to ship. Those ship next day, and then my custom order turnaround time is 2 weeks. That way, on Sundays, I plan out my dye schedule for the week, and so throughout that week, if I get custom orders, they kind of get put onto the following week's dye schedule. It gives time for order to stack up a little bit, as well as for me to be able to plan my week out, which as a planner is really great part of it. But then again, if people need order or need yarn quickly, those ready to ship skeins go out next day. So overall, this has been going really great. The limited library is also been really helpful. And so yeah, I hope you guys have been enjoying these shop updates. And I just think one thing is like, I just need to find the right amount to stock in these updates. I have done restock updates, but yeah, it's just about finding that balance of how much and what I want to dye each month. The other thing that I will say about it is I knew when I changed how my shop was offered that I would see a drop in revenue, and I'd say that that happened. I don't know if it was the timing or if it really was because of what I was offering, but I expected to see that drop because by having ready to ship, there was less being kind of offered. Whereas when I had my library of a large list of colors, people could probably really find something they wanted, whereas now maybe, you know, they're not into the 5 colors that I'm currently offering, and then maybe, you know, the next month the same thing happens. One thing that I just kind of told myself was it was okay to kind of see these revenue drops. When I ended the Dye With Me Club, that was a revenue drop. When I switched to dye, you know, kind of mostly ready to ship, that caused a revenue drop. But I've always slowly kind of come back from them, and I think that that's just been a really great thing to experience this year. So just again, the last 2 things that were on my list was vending at festivals. I've done videos on them. The only video I didn't do was kind of the future of me at festivals. I felt like the topic was getting overdone, and I'm just gonna make that part of my 2022 goals. So if you're curious, check that out on Tuesday. And then the last thing was the fact that I spent a lot of time doing advents this year. I released everything that I had done for advents in the past and then offered the new ones up. Every year that I go through, and by every year, the 2 years that I've done advents and these Hanukkah kits, I tell myself I'm never doing them again, but I'm sure I will be doing them next year. But I will not be re-releasing any advents. It will just be the 2022 advents. So yeah, so if you haven't checked out, I have highlights in my Instagram, so you can see the 2022 gradient fade one. Or check out Jana of Purl Together. I'll link to her channel down below. She opened up my advent each day, so you can kind of see her fun reactions to them each day. So definitely check that out as well. But I will not be re-releasing that advent. I did not write down formulas. It was one of a kind for sure. Okay, so kind of just like overall kind of thinking back, I think a lot changed for my business this year. Again, it was no longer my rookie season. It was really about, you know, kind of how can I sustain and how can I grow while still being able to maintain like my values. So, you know, I wanted to keep offering any size skeins and sweater quantities. I wanted to have quick turnaround times. I want to offer free shipping. I want to, I don't know, just keep everything open and available to what people want, but kind of not, you know, also sustain and keep myself from kind of going through burnout. So my themes for the year were growth and contentment, and I think that you can see a lot of that in how I'm reflecting. So I definitely grew a lot this year. Again, I mentioned yarn clubs grew quite a bit, and you know, I think like followers, subscribers, all of that kind of grew, which is great, especially having, you know, a brand that I want my name more out there, going to the festivals in that sense, a new product line, all that ways I feel like I really did grow this year. The contentment side of things definitely was a good reminder to me throughout the year. I think, you know, I definitely hit my goals in growth this year. Of course, you always want, you know, things to do well, and you set high goals and everything like that. So especially with the ready to ship updates, you know, it's always about, you know, would it be great if my yarn sold out when I had a shop update? Yes. I'm not going to say, you know, that would be terrible. That would be amazing. Has it ever happened? No. That's okay though, right? I'm still happy to be in a place now where when I make shop updates, people buy my yarn that day, because that used to not be a thing. So it's just kind of reminding myself of that. I've gone through burnout a few times this year, again, one with the Dye With Me Club in particular. Late in the year, this year, kind of getting through the last quarter of the year, I went through burnout in general, just with life and everything, and had quite a few breakdowns, but I've really gotten to take time off at the end of this year, and so that's really kind of helped me regroup. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I wanted to shut down A Girl and Her Wool a few weeks ago, and not for the first time, just from straight up burnout. So it's really just kind of reminding myself that I'm doing what I can and to be happy with where my business is at, because it's doing just fine. So that is kind of my wrap up for this year. Again, it was a really great year. I'm really proud of how far I've come. I'm really proud of everything I've offered, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about what 2022 will bring. There will probably be some teasers, but I also want to keep things exciting in the new year. So make sure you're subscribed here. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. That definitely helps me out. And make sure you follow me on Instagram at A Girl and Her Wool. And I will see you guys on Tuesday when we talk about 2022 goals. I think in my last video I said I'll see you in 2022, and now here I am. So for real, I will see you guys in 2022. Bye.